Environmental Systems with
Jenny
Jenny Edwards.
Hello. So I heard you had some questions about Environmental Systems class with Mrs. Edwards.
Yeah, I do have some questions. First of all, what kind of things did you do in the class, and what did you generally learn?
The class mainly is a science class, but it also has a little bit of social studies in it, and that's why I think that it attracts more people who aren't particularly into the science stuff and like a little bit more of just general learning rather than strictly science. So it really helps you with a more lay of how the world actually is rather than just one aspect of it. It gives you the better picture of it.
And since you're learning about the Earth, did you actually get to go out and do a lot of stuff to learn, like hands-on learning?
Yeah, the class is very hands-on, so if that's not your thing, you might want to look for a different path. But if you really like hands-on projects and stuff like that, I would definitely recommend it. And it's not bad hands-on. You go on a lot of field trips. One thing that we did a lot was we took different data points for the Garden Creek that runs off of Casper Mountain. And so with that, we checked the turbidity of the stream, the velocity, the chemical composition of the stream, and tested for like the pH and everything with that, which that probably sounds kind of complicated, but the class makes it understandable.
Nice. Besides that, did you guys take any other field trips that you can think of?
One field trip that is always a big part of this class that was just started recently is the Teton Science School field trip, and that's just over President's Day weekend, I think. It's the 4-day weekend in February.
Yeah, it seems like the class presents a lot of opportunities to go out and actually do stuff, which is pretty cool for a science class. So how hard would you say the coursework was of this class?
The coursework for the class is somewhat laid back, but not laid back enough to where it's just an easy A. It's not a class where it's just unreasonable the amount of coursework and the things that you have to do and the level of which the things that you have to do are at. It's definitely a challenging class. You have to put in some work too, but it's not overwhelming by any means.
And was the IB test at the end of the year pretty easy with all the stuff you learned throughout the year? Did you have to study a lot to take it?
Well, it's always good to study a lot because even if my test was a little bit easier, the one that other people take throughout the years might be a little bit of a harder caliber. But my test, I studied, and I didn't study overwhelmingly a lot. I had a lot of other tests that I had to study for. So, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad. I did well and I got college credit.
So just like a brief description, what do you have to do for the IA?
The IA it stands for internal assessment, and basically that's just when you have like a lab report or something in a regular science class, that's kind of what the IA is, except it's like personal lab report. Like you do your own experiments or you take your own data, and it can be with the other science classes, it's usually more of you going out and getting your own data. Environmental systems, since it is more open-ended with the social studies aspect, you can do things like surveys. Mine that I did I gave out a survey on water usage and how people use water and how your location might differ with that. And so with that, that's really open-ended. You can do anything that you're interested in. If you're interested in deer population, or if you're interested in the way that certain plants will grow in different types of soil, or anything like that. And if you don't have a particular idea to begin with, a lot of the coursework that you do from the beginning of the school year might spark an idea in you, or you can talk to Mrs. Edwards about it.
Nice. And so doing like a project like that on your own really helps you prepare for college. You're not going to get a bunch of help on. So that was nice. Besides that, what else would you say this class helped you with in college, if it did?
Well, since it's an IB class, obviously you can get college credit for it. Even if you don't do that, or you don't pass a test or anything, it does help a lot because, like I said, it gives you a better grand picture of the environmental systems rather than just like certain aspects like chemistry would. And I think that's really valuable because when you're looking at a subject, it's not just that subject, you have to have it in context. And so that's super helpful. And like with the IA, it's nice to have a research paper like that under your belt going in so that you know what it's like, and but it's not so overwhelming that when you're doing it you don't know what to do and you don't know who to ask. With this, you literally, you just go to Mrs. Edwards if you have any questions or if you're having any trouble, and you just ask her, and it's really easy. So then once you get that out of the way, you kind of have some experience with it, and then you're good to go for any college paper that you need.
Nice. And so you went to UW, so you got 3 credit hours for the class?
Yeah, and if I don't know exactly what it transferred into, but I'm pretty sure for me it was an elective, which is still good because it counts as a science credit.
Yeah, so you have 3 science credits out of 6, so you only have to take 1 more science class, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Right on. Thanks, Sarah.
Be sure to take Miss Edwards' class. It's a lot of fun, and Mrs. Edwards is the best.